the bagpipes is a war instrument. And anytime I hear the bagpipes, I either want to make love or fight. It's the truth. Nothing in between. And every time I hear them, it does something to me, a chemical. Because, bagpipes are one of the oldest instruments in the world, second hardest to play. The tunes are like flank left, flank right, Here in America, if you become really good at scouting and you become an Eagle Scout. Okay, in the United Kingdom, where, the king's there and you do real good and you become a King Scout. Or in my case, if the Queen's on the throne, you become a Queen Scout. Now, I don't tell that story often, but I am a Queen Scout. The reason a guy named Lord Baden-Powell, who the IRA killed in his boat, in the First World War, they didn't have means of communication. Lord Baden-Powell got these little kids and boom, give them a note, and they'd run from dugout to dugout, so that's the proper word, but boom, and that's how the Boy Scouts were formed.
Really?
You betcha, man. And the bagpipes is flank left, charge, and then at nighttime is the fun tunes. And the reason, I'll just finish it with this, the reason that I got so good at them, there's only picture I have of myself as a kid is about 5 years old, and you learn on a chanter. I'm doing it like you can see me. Chanter it's just a piece of wood because the fingering is so intricate. It takes you about 3 years. I was 5 years old. My little fingers didn't even reach. I played in the Rose Bowl parade when I was about 10 or 11. Out of 200 pipers picked in the world. Now, why was I going to tell you that?
We were talking.
Well, you don't listen to me either. You're like my wife.
No, we were talking about the fact that this has been something that has been attached. I mean, it's hard in wrestling to come up with something new and unique. Now, how did you decide that it would be a part of who you were going forward? Because you started so young in wrestling, but how did you decide? Because there was a lot of foresight to say, I'm going to be different. Nobody's done this before. I'm going to come into the ring and be playing bagpipes.
Boy, I wish I was that smart. Okay, when God gives you gifts, all you folks out there, you got I would have rather had the guitar and been Paul McCartney. I think. Really? Not sure. Okay. I don't know though. I don't know anything about Paul's life, but okay, I have bagpipes. And the first match I have is in Winnipeg, Canada, and the way I got it is I used to play my bagpipes on the street for quarters, and I used to live in youth hostels, and so one of the youth hostels was a YMCA. Mm-hmm. Well, I was so bored during the day, I would box and wrestle, and my coach, somebody didn't show up from Vern Gagne in Winnipeg, Canada, said, I can get you $25 to fight this guy. I didn't have a TV. I'd never seen a pro wrestling match in my life. Sure. So I went to my pipe band. I said, what's it all about? They said, we'll play you in. Come the night, the guy was Mr. Perfect's daddy, Larry the Axe Henning, 320 Viking. And I'm coming in, I'm 15 years old, my nuts haven't dropped yet. I'm coming in there with four bagpipers in full regalia, a bass drummer, 2 snares, and me. Shortest match in the history of the Winnipeg Arena. Beat me in 10 seconds, including the 3 count. Broke my nose, tore my eye open. They came back, and I thought they were going to duke me out of my $25. They said, kid, you did great. How'd you like to go to Kansas City? Put me on a bus with Moolah and a bunch of other hairy people, and that's how I got going. So, other than that, how did you like the opera, Mrs. Lincoln?
I thought it was a great story. Now, I grew up in Los Angeles, as I've told people many, many times, and days of regional wrestling. And, of course, you were part of 2 of the great regional wrestling promotions there were here in Portland with Don Owen and in Los Angeles with the LaBelles. Yes. And I remember, of course, the villain that my friends and we used to like the heels, and so John Tolis was the legendary villain to come out of Los Angeles.
He was wonderful.
And I used to think, well, nobody's ever going to top John Tolis when he left the area. But here comes this guy, Roddy Piper, and he's taking on Victor Rivera, the guy that everybody, all the Hispanic community of LA, this is their hero. This is their hero. And you took him on long before Jimmy Snuka. You took on Victor Rivera, and I think you told me in one of your stories was like the first time you got stabbed. stabbed, or one of the times you got stabbed was at the old Olympic Auditorium.
That's right, and we told the promoter there was two LaBelles. One Gene LaBelle, who's my sensei, toughest man in the world.
Oh yeah.
Not according to him either.
Judo Gene. Yeah.
Judo Gene, and the other one Mike LaBelle, which they hated each other. Yes. Mike's gone now, and their mother Eileen Eaton, who taught Muhammad Ali the whole thing, and. I was so little and skinny, and everybody in the building thought they could beat me up, and so they made me a heel. Because like, who wants to get? They're all Mexican, wonderful people. I got bagpipes and a skirt on. Give me a break here, God. And I'll annoy them. Boy, do they get annoyed.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
One time I played, I said, stand for the Mexican national anthem. I played La Cucaracha.
I remember that.
Oh, baby. But that building that you're referring to was called the Olympic Auditorium. And we don't have, there's so much richness in there. When you came down, it looked like the Roman Colosseum. I'm not kidding you. And when you came down, and it's round, and this big heavy door, and you go down about 6, 7 steps, and it gets a little darker, and there's this guy about 6'6", his name was Tiger Nelson. Sometime I'll tell you some wonderful stuff about that guy. He used to wash your back in the shower, because back in those days, they never changed the mats. And so there was 2 rules that you get beat up for real bad. If you didn't have shower shoes to go to the shower, if you didn't get your back washed, because, you get bad disease and pass it on. Okay, just a little wrestling stuff there, all right? You wanted it. And I fought Riveros and the Guerreros a lot. Guerrero.
Yes, Chavo, that's right.
Yeah.
And I remember what was unique about that building. There wasn't much space on the aisles. I mean, you could reach out half an arm length and be touching a fan. So it was easy for them to annoy you as the heel that they hated so much.
That's where it started. So I got stabbed on the right leg, I think, first time. Right, because I'm coming down the chute, and they say to the promoter, they say, listen, we should take a row of chairs out because, they're stabbing them. He goes, no, that's why they buy those chairs. I swear to God. No, that's why they buy those chairs, to stab them. Tell them to have more muscle, damn it. Promoter, you got room for 2 navels. No, what is it? You got room for 2 peas in the heart of a promoter in your navel. I love you.
You know what's amazing is that, and somebody that you've met, our good friend, our studio engineer for the Blazer games, Rich Patterson, is one of the reasons why there is any footage available of the glory days of Portland wrestling. And it's amazing to me, back in those days, the promoters, they didn't really think one of the greatest angles that's ever been done in wrestling, and has been copied over time. In, I think, 1971, they're looking for the first time in LA to see if maybe they can expand from the Olympic Auditorium. They get the idea, maybe the Coliseum, the big Coliseum, but we got to come up with an angle that's going to be big. So Freddie Blassie, the hero, gets supposedly blinded with some Monsool's powder that John Tolis throws in his eye.
Bad stuff.
He needed some knee surgery, really, is what happened, so he needed some time off. But they come up with this great angle, but they tape over that TV show. They tape over the next week because they were so concerned about conserving the 3/4-inch tapes, and nobody thought about, well, you need to preserve this for history.
Same with Don Owens.
Yes, it's crazy.
And it wasn't for Rich. And you know what he did? He and his wife, I owe them an email. There's something they're doing, like a golf or something.
Yes,
my son will golf, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he gave me, Rich Patterson gave me all my matches from Portland.
Yes.
Which, we love you, Rich.
And he a lot of what he got was sitting in Buddy Rose's garage, and I mean, so
there's
stuff
another piece of work.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we went out with Buddy a few times and talk about a guy with some stories and some history and so forth. But it's amazing how, and it's too bad that there's not more. I know WWE has tried its best to get as much footage to put on their network of the territories, which is very ironic considering that Vince basically took over all the territories, so there wouldn't be territories anymore, which is a shame in many respects. Yeah, which is a shame in many respects. But and that's what's been great about you, Rod, is that over the years there've been a lot of people that have made enemies of people, and there's probably people you don't like as much as you like other people, but you find a way to get along with everybody in some form or another, whether it's business or friendship. I mean, there's days where you probably hated Vince McMahon, and you still do business with him today.
I sent him a baseball bat. That's true story. It's you know what? There's not one picture of me in Titan Towers, but one time in the early days, I went to this trophy store right in Hillsboro, and they made baby Jesus out of oak, like a long think about an axe in a firehouse. Okay, and the glass you got a hammer to break the glass, and on it inside it, instead of a hammer is a Louisville Slugger. And on the plate it says "First come, first serve RP," and there's a hammer hanging from it. And it's in the conference room in Titan Towers, but there's not one picture of me in there.
With all you've done for them.
You know, well, sometimes my sense of humor. One time, John, every Thanksgiving, he would get all the wrestlers' turkeys, and one time they had the midgets in, so we give them Cornish hens. This stuff would never, every day they were throwing me in something. I was just a little kid, and they would throw me. One time I walk in and I'm turning a corner and there's a bear pounding a pint of wild turkey, and for $25 or I'm fired. Yeah, one time I had a match in Bakersfield. Loser gets run over by a motorcycle. I lost. I had a hair match with Chavo Guerrero. The loser loses his hair. Boom, they took my hair. Next day, they put me in another one. I just kept losing. It was just like, just trim it up around the ears and... Baby Jesus, that's just the stuff I can tell you about.
No, I know.